You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. I guess we'll do a little rain update since it was sprinkling earlier. I don't think we really got that much. Like 0.05 inches. What's up, buddy? So with that being said, yeah, we're hoping it actually dries out some. We can go chop that stuff. Has heifer feed. Anything that had milkweed in it's getting chopped and dumped and get composted. That field's new to us, that we chopped that we mowed previously, and somebody did write in the comments, oh, it looks like a bunch of weeds. First cutting was pretty good, but the weeds definitely came in. It was neglected before that, so that's gonna have to get reseeded. Also, with that being said, my one field that I seeded this spring, that I plowed and seeded, didn't really do as well as I thought, and the landowner hit me up and was like, hey, why is it full of weeds? So what I've come to think is we spread lime on it, but then I plowed it under, so it's far enough down that the grass growing can't get to it. So the pH level's wrong, which, yeah, that's amateur. But we don't spread lime, so I never even thought about it. We also didn't own a set of plows that were good before that, so I didn't think about that either. But with that being said, at some point, we're probably gonna put lime on the top, disc under the junkier stuff that's growing there. It's got some growing in it, and reseed it. But yeah, probably take a soil sample before that. I do have other ground that I gotta take a soil samples for. So much to do. But what we're doing today, yeah, you guessed it, more truck work. So I got most of this done prior on this side. This side I gotta work on. This side's much more tedious as far as trying to reach in and do things, but we're gonna give it a go. Hopefully I'd really like for this thing to run today. It won't be done, but I'd like it to run. So I got to do downpipe, things like that, but I want it to build oil pressure. That's my big thing. So I got to make sure that does that. Otherwise, that's always a concern, but I have faith that it will. But the machine shop guys were like, hey, just make sure you do that and check it beforehand. So, well, I got ahead of myself. That's why I'm always taking it this kind of slower than just rushing through everything. This wire goes down behind this bracket and then around. That's why I'd never had enough length. I just watched a video when we had the brackets off and the harness was sitting on still. So I'm glad I videotaped everything. So we'll pop that bracket off and then we'll slide it down behind it. Should have enough room there, and yeah, that wasn't as much thinking as I didn't think ahead, but we put the harness on after. And I knew I was going to come into some situations like that. Where's my, okay, where's my 15? It was laying right down there. So, we should be able to do, just take these bolts off and sneak it behind. Don't need to take the AC compressor off or any of the lines, I think. We'll see. It might be more challenging by myself. All part of it, all part of this whole thing of life. You guys see anything? A little bit. Okay. Let's see. Was able to slide this out enough, and it actually has a little bracket in the back. It sneaks down, goes underneath the studs that are in here, and then it goes down and around to right here. So there we go. And then from there, it goes down underneath here and out to the back. So let's just slide this back together and then make sure we didn't pinch nothing. And yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, that still all moves. That actually looks okay. Make sure that this fits all the way back there now. Now we're plumbed in as far as the wiring. Might as well get this electrical fixed now that I know what I'm doing, or that this is how it's supposed to be. Then we can start doing it's basically piping, securing wires, and doing everything on the front clip. So I figured I might as well finish up that wiring, so we'll go in here and get the switch fixed. Well, switch it out. So here's the old one. It had the knob on it. I took it off, popped it off. As you see, yeah, we got butt connectors on there that never got heat shrinked. We had dyno days once at Limitless, and Evan switched that out because it had broke right before, and I wanted to see what it was doing. So I'll pop that off and pop the other one in. Old switch, as you see. New switch. I like how it's all sealed and everything else like that. So we'll just pop it through that hole. Be good to go. So to do these switches, get your Allen wrench, put it into the switch. That loosens it up. Pop it off. And then take your lock. And you get your lock nut, and then you got a washer. So from there, we should be able to just pop it right in the same hole. Put your lock nut on, or your washer, and then put your lock nut. And then we'll just pull the wires back through where the same path. I like that these new ones are sealed and wrapped and everything. It looks way cleaner. I didn't expect it to be that clean. And before, I really didn't use this switch. We always ran it on the high. Now we're going to use this switch quite a bit, since, yeah, we're not going to run it on high all the time. We do got to load new tunes. Okay. And just lock it back in. One, two, three, four, five. 5 tunes. Yep. Well, we got oil pressure, and we also forgot to put the washer on. So we got Dan back here and Andy dancing.
I got oil pressure.
I noticed that I forgot to do it, but we have oil pressure, which I was nervous about because the machine shop said, yeah, all three of us have oil pressure. Andy was starting the truck. So the machine shop said, make sure you have oil pressure when you get going. Got me nervous. So now we're good.
It starts!
We got oil pressure. Not on the gauge yet, which kind of makes me nervous, but we got oil pressure in the motor. And the motor starts. It started.
It started.
Yeah, Andy's excited too. All right, let's keep digging into it. It's shaking because none of the sensors are hooked up for the air intake. The exhaust sensors aren't hooked up. The boost sensors aren't hooked up, so it doesn't know what's going on. But it ran. That's gonna do it for this one. It runs. Started plumbing things in. Missing the clamp to do the intake to the turbo. So that's part of why it's running rough. None of the air stuff's hooked up. But with that being said, we're in a good boat. I'm gonna order some stuff. It's not coming up as oil pressure on the gauge, but we definitely had pressure coming out of the turbo feed. So we definitely have oil pressure. So I'm gonna order a new sensor. It has been sitting doing nothing. And then my other thing would be when I installed this, I might have pinched a wire and then that's why it's not reading. It's not saying low oil, which that goes through the same thing. So I'm hoping the sensor's just bad, but we'll see. Andy out here, we're still getting it done. So we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing. And hopefully the next time you see this, it'll be way more together. Hopefully it won't be in the shop. So we appreciate it. We hope you have a good one. See you on the next one.